Greetings, fellow fighters. Greetings, fellow Ambazonians. I believe this message should be very short because I want it to go viral on all the social media platforms. What I'm presenting today would be very, very simple. It is a suggestion. It is a suggestion I wrote out earlier last year. Not last year, 2 years ago in 2017. It is not my imposition on you, Ambazonians. It is a suggestion. So I come here with a lot of humility to pass this message. I pass this message well crafted because of what I studied, because of what some of us who study international security, we can roll out as the better way forward for our struggle. I passed out the message because I've discussed with a lot of people at the back channel, and I think it is appropriate at this time for us to have this particular strategy rolled out. Remember, when we started the struggle last 2 years or 3 years ago, I crafted out 221 strategies. So far, only 27 have been implemented. The very last was the locking down of all roads, that roadblocks, which was the 27th strategy. Right now, we're moving into the 28th, which is the nail strategy. But the nail strategy would come after this. What I'm suggesting now would be the change of capitals. I come here with a lot of humility. Don't look at me as Ivo, the ADF, or don't look at me as Ivo, some other federalist or whatever. At the time I wrote out the strategy, I was a federalist. And right now I'm a nationalist. So it tells you we had the federalist or the nationalist tendency or tendencies among us. So now what I'm about to say is very important, very strategic, and I will give you the reasons why I believe it's going to work for us, work for all of us Ambazonians. What I'm going to say, don't take it harshly because maybe you have an affiliation towards Buea. Don't take it harshly. Look at it from a strategic point of view and try to reason it out because we believe we work on theories and theories well grounded in political science. So it's very important for us to take down the notes, study what I'm about to suggest, and see how we can implement it immediately as soon as possible for us to have this victory. Now, my name is Tapang Ivo for those who don't know me. For those who are joining on this page, my name is Tapang Ivo Taanku. I am the head of communications for the Ministry of Defense in Ambazonia. So that means I communicate only defense issues. And so this particular message I'm about to pass out is strategic. Of course, it is within my sphere. It is also a war strategy and it's also a defensive strategy. Now, what do I want to say? As simple as it is, we all know that Ambazonia regained or kind of declared its independence back in 2017 under the era of Sisiku Ayok Tabe, who is currently in jail. We all know that Ambazonia has a legitimate right to its self-determination, and we were and we are a country as far back as 1961 when we gained our independence, or kind of a quasi-independence from the former British Southern Cameroons. And ever since, Buea has been the capital of Ambazonia, and Buea has always been the contested capital of Ambazonia. Ever since, La République du Cameroun had never, ever allowed us to breathe freely in Buea, the capital. It is true that the capital is the fulcrum, is the center of every political country's needs and aspirations. It is true that the capital is the center of every strategic, political, or diplomatic move. Yes, it is the capital because the people decide to declare it a capital. And the people can decide as well to change the capital for some strategic reasons. For the last 57 years in particular, we've seen Buea being the stronghold of CPDM, being the stronghold of a regime that terrorizes the people of Ambazonia, and being the stronghold of the people that have been colonized for the past 1 century, because we were colonized in the 18th century, if not the 19th century. Until today, we are still under colonial occupation, illegal colonial occupation. So Buea has always been that center. And it is time for us, the people of Ambazonia, to declare Buea not the capital or the political capital of Ambazonia. We have to change the capital for some strategic reasons, which I would advance to you at this moment. Number one, it is always said in political science, if you've studied or if you've read the book of Buenos de Mesquitas, he wrote a particular book. The title of the book is War Trap. War Trap is a well-grounded political science book, well-grounded in international security as well, and well-cited even by scholars like Kenneth Watts, other scholars who also advance what we call the power transition theory. In the War Trap, he clearly states that power decreases as distance increases. That means the further you are away from your threat, the more you're weaker, or more the threat is weaker from inflicting any harm on you. Let me break it down this way. If you are closer to me, I can give you a punch and you will feel the punch. But when you are far away, if I give you that punch, you will not feel that punch. To put it in simple words, for those who like in pidgin, they say making mouth. They always stand from a distance to make the mouth. But when you come closer, it is very difficult to make the mouth anymore. So what we are saying here is power decreases as distance increases. In other words, power increases as distance decreases. This means Buea, if you look at the shortest and the most close capital to La République du Cameroon, it is Buea. The shortest, it is just 30 minutes away from La République du Cameroon. Buea, the capital, is 30 minutes away. That means any military truck can crisscross from Douala into Buea within a speed of a second and do anything, inflict any harm, and go back to La République du Cameroon without anyone protesting. Now, this is where I come in. If you have a capital that is vulnerable, very, very vulnerable to your own citizens, vulnerable to the praise, to your enemies, please do consider changing that capital. If I have a house that is closer to the terrorist cells, to where cocaine drug dealers are living, I should be thinking about my family and how I can relocate my house, even if I could live in that same city, but relocate my house to another city, far away from the terrorist cell, where I can gain and inflict power and inflict authority over my enemies. If I have a house that is very close to an enemy's camp, I think I should relocate. And this is the strategic purpose for any state. Any state that is closer to its enemy should always think of relocating its political and diplomatic capital away from that enemy. To put it in simple words, hear me out. We've had countries like Israel that has changed its capital from Jerusalem to Tel Aviv. For some strategic reasons, Jerusalem is the most disputed area in Israel. Palestinians are still claiming control over Jerusalem. The Israelites are claiming control over Jerusalem. And for that strategic reason, Israel changed its political and diplomatic capital from Jerusalem to Tel Aviv. It has worked that way. We've had other countries, even in Africa, that have changed their capitals. For example, Nigeria. Nigeria changed its capital from Lagos to Abuja. We've had even Ivory Coast, to the best of my memory, change its capital from Yamoussoukro to Abidjan. We have so many of these examples for strategic reasons, or for economic reasons, or for some diplomatic reasons. We should be thinking that way. It is not all about fighting and fighting and fighting without any strategy. We have to roll out a strategy that will change the capital from Buea to some other place. You can name it, maybe Kumbo. Kumbo, for example, is the heartland of opposition in Ambazonia. Kumbo, for example, is the heartland for anything that comes to anti-Buea or anti-La République. We can change it to Bamenda, for example. We can change it to Manfe, for example. I'm not being biased here. Don't say I'm a Northwesterner. I am a 100% Southwesterner. I'm from Bangwa. So it tells you, Buea is also my region. And I will tell you honestly, get the capital to a place which is more secure, and for strategic purpose, you hold the capital there. Even temporarily, you can still hold the capital there. First, here is the impact. It will confuse La République, and La République will think of moving its troops to that capital to secure the stronghold. I would not cite the example of terrorists or some Islamic states trying to create caliphates. We already have our Ambazonia. We are not creating any caliphate, and we don't have an Islamic population. We have a Christian population. Here is the hook, and here is the strategy. If we move this capital from Buea to, for example, Bamenda, the people of Bamenda, being so resistant and who are the biggest opposition to Mr. Buea's rule, would hold that capital to its teeth, and Mr. Buea himself would panic. And you have caused a confusion here because for the first reason, Buea would try as much as possible to dissuade his attention from Buea to Bamenda. I don't want to explain more. I can explain more at the background of this strategy because I believe La Republic terrorists are watching me keenly and following exactly what I'm saying. So I'll give you what we call incomplete information. This is a game of incomplete information. Now, if we change this capital from Buea to Bamenda, it would boost morale. It would increase intentions and international attention about what Ambazonians are doing. Ambazonians are about changing the capital from Buea to some other place for a strategic reason. Now it gives the international media some kind of an attention hook on Ambazonia to know exactly what is happening. What are these guys up to? We are up to something, and we are following our national and international laws. As simple as it is, Buea itself is very close to Tico, and Tico is close to Douala. It is easy for me to cross from Douala to Buea in the twinkling of an eye. It is very easy for anyone to crisscross from Buea to Douala without any blink. But it is very difficult for anyone to cross from La Republique du Cameroon into Bamenda or into Kumbo, for example. It is very difficult for anyone to cross from any part of La Republique into Kumbo or into Bamenda because you have to pass through the West region, and the West region right now is in opposition against Mr. Buea. You have to pass through Bamenda, which of course the roads are very, very bad. It will slow down your progress and it will give us time for us to prepare against the enemy. And it is very difficult as well to fly over into these northwestern regions because, of course, we can take down any flight. We've imposed the no-fly zone. But it is easy for anyone to move from Douala with any kinds of trucks because the roads are well tarred. It is easy for you to move from Douala into Buea, inflict your mayhem and go back. So believe me or not, even if we declare independence and hold Buea our capital, we will still have resistance from La Republique because La Republique will still be getting into our capital with all the capabilities and might to topple our regimes. That is exactly how states operate in international politics, and that is how we should be thinking in this current contemporary age and time. As simple as it is a suggestion for us to deliberate on, to see how we can work any plausible moves out of this particular strategy and how we can regain our independence through some kind of relocation of capital. We've tested that hypothesis or that particular theory in so many countries, and it has worked successfully. Ambazonia will not be an exception. So fellow Ambazonians, sorry, it is very long. I intended to make it 10 minutes. And sorry I did not announce my coming on air because I know it's a strategic discussion. I believe the leaders, don't look at me from an ADF point of view, look at me as Tapang Ivo suggesting a brilliant strategy that can be rolled out for us to have this particular win. So let the leaders sit together, discuss about this, and declare any part of Ambazonia for strategic reasons the capital. And even if you want to declare it temporarily, good and fine, that should be at the back door. But let the people know that the capital has to be relocated. Thank you very much and stay blessed. My name is Tapang Ivo. Bye-bye.